Good afternoon. Welcome to Pat's Stamping Place. And it is Monday, July 1st. I love when the beginning of the month starts on a Monday. I don't know why, but I do. So welcome. I am so excited to be here. 2 weeks in a row. Things are working. However, I did have to reboot my router and modem again. So I still need to troubleshoot with my provider, whatever, to see why I have to do that every week. So again, I hope things work. So let's see, let's put this up here. This is Pat Mayer. I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator. I live in Northeast Ohio, and it is a beautiful day for the beginning of July. And I think we're looking for some other good weather too. Let's see, let's get that out of the way. Want to make sure everything is working. Let me know if you are here. If you are new to my channel, welcome. And if you come around all the time, I welcome you too also. Gloria, thank you. You are watching. Yay. All right, what are we doing today? If you read the, I think it shows up on Facebook, what I'm going to do in the live. Let's take that away. And hello, Shirley, welcome. And I said last week we talked a little bit about and delved into color theory and all of those good things in the back of the catalog. Let's get you down to my desktop where it really counts. And we talked about all of the Stampin' Up! Colors. It's a color wheel. You can go to a paint store and get one, but they won't have all these colors. Probably just the same hues of what you see. And we talked monochromatic, complementary, analogous, and triadic, excuse me. Hello, Rose, welcome. So I'm just finding color so much more interesting now, I guess, because we have this in the catalog. It's fun. And don't be afraid to try different color combinations, and wait till you see the paper that I'm using today. First of all, when I saw the catalog, I went through it, of course, numerous times, looking for things that were familiar, things that are new, things that I thought I would like, and I came upon this suite of products called Full of Life. It's on page 43 in the catalog. Hi, Holly, welcome. And I looked at it, and actually not too much of it jumped out at me as something that I had to have, or at least needed right now. You know how that goes, need versus want. Because I have things that might say some of these things, or would I use them that often? So I did not order any of this initially. Hello, Caroline from Scotland. Welcome. But the more I saw this paper, and it's a little out of my comfort zone, and obviously we see other people doing marvelous things with it, I thought, I really need to have that. So I do have the paper. It is a wonderful suite of products, and maybe eventually I will get some of these things because I do like some of the dies. Maybe I could skip the stamp set and go with the dies and the paper. I know I'm going to be ordering more of this because it's so much fun. There's also ribbon and some gems that go with this. So that's where we're going to start today. And then I have brought in this stamp set and bundle, Round We Go. And a number of years ago, when we had the big, thick, chunky dies that were like way big, we had a pinwheel die. I don't know if you were around then or remember that. And those were fun to make. And you could do so many things with them. Well, now we've got kind of a mini one. But I really like this. There's so many things to say with celebrations, birthdays, just anything to celebrate. So I'm going to be using primarily, well, I'm going to show you this, how to make the pinwheel, and these little dots. I love polka dots. So we're going to use that today. And also, whoops, things are sticking here. Also, one of my favorite new stamp sets that is in the online exclusives, and I've used it before, and it's Sweetly Scripted. I love every single one of these. I have a sample to show you that use Speedy Recovery, because I have a friend who's going to have some hip surgery in a few weeks, and I know that she will just love that. And I'm going to do one with A Million Thanks, and then I have one to show you with Happy Birthday. So every single one of these, I just love the script, the layout, and I think you'll like it too. But it is available in the online store. However, let me explain that again. With things that are not in the catalog but are online, you can go online, and this is where you can go. Let me bring that up here. patmayer.stampinup.net, and you don't really have to shop there. You can always get an order to me with email, give me a phone call, and order that way if you're not comfortable ordering online. And more about that in the weeks to come with the way things are going to be changing, which is a good thing. It is a good change. So if you want to see more of the online exclusives, as well as more things that are in the catalog but are not easy to see, that's where you need to go, right there. Whoop, where is it? Oh, it's down at the bottom. patmayer.stampinup.net, and you can see lots and lots of things. So now I'll take that away too. All right, let's talk about this amazing paper first of all. And then I'm going to make a really cute card for you. There are 12 designs, double-sided of course, and look at the possibilities of things that you can cut out. I mean, to me, this is like going to Sherwin-Williams or Lowe's or Home Depot and just looking at all of the paint colors and getting paint swatches and ideas. And if you've never picked up some of those paint swatches, take a trip and go look and see what you can find. But this is fun. I'll show you the back sides in a minute. We've got several that are sunbursts or bursts of color, if you will, not necessarily sun. Now, some of these do match the sentiments in that stamp set that I said I didn't have, but you might find other little sentiments that you have, hello, hi, just a note, that might fit in some of these. Here's some bigger squares, some bigger, just splotches of color, another sunburst. Here's another one of those. Now these look alike, but these are different shades, different colors here. Whoops. With this one, they're not the same. So some of the designs are identical, but the colors are not. So that's 11, and here's 12. Now let me flip them over, and we have washes of color. And if you're not real fan of some of those other things on the front, these will blow you away as well. So, you know, look at things like sunbursts, sunsets, just splashes of color there. Oh my, makes my heart flutter. Some sea, you could see some fish or some sea there. Here's another one with a good sunset. These are sticking together, and my fingers are kind of sticky. Okay, there's one. There's another one. So I I am smitten with these colors. Now, with that said, I'm going to make a polka dot card. Who doesn't love polka dots? At the end, I'll show you my other samples and also a little pinwheel. So let me show you one of the pinwheels first. Now, this is the big pinwheel, kind of big to go on the card that I'm going to make. Okay, and there's a die that you can cut out to put on the back of that, and this. And this is a half. And what I did was to cut out 2 of these from one of the papers. Oops, I guess it went this way with the scallops on one side and the fence post on the other side. You prefer the more muted sides. They're great. They're great on both sides. So this is the little scallop, and then this is about 1.5 inches. And so I put it on my trimmer and cut it down to 3/4 of an inch. And this is easy to make. I do have one made already, so I don't know if I'll actually finish this one because of the time it takes for the glue to dry. So you want to start with, it's just accordion fold, back and forth, back and forth. And you want to start with, see if I can zoom in a little bit, this tab end. And there's good fold lines there, so you can just go back and forth. And what I can see happening, if I wanted to make a lot of these, is cut a bunch of them out, whether they're the big ones or the little ones, and just sit in front of the TV and binge something and make a bunch of them at one time, and then you can always glue them together. Okay, I lost my train of thought here because I'm getting it off kilter. Where are we going here? Let's start again. But anyway, I hope you had a good week last week. We had some good weather, some rainy weather. I went to an event at our local zoo on Friday evening with a friend. It was a mystery, a murder mystery at the zoo. Go figure. But a friend of mine had not been to our local zoo in a long time. So we basically went to see the animals. And it was an adult-only event. So there weren't kids there and stuff, which I think kids going to the zoo is an amazing thing. But anyway, all right, so there's one. That's a little bit off there. And you need 2 of these to put the whole thing together. It would be a little bit too much. I think too small. I suppose you could do it, but then we do this one. I'll try to be a little bit more mindful of what I'm doing. But anyway, we were supposed to have rain all Friday. Fortunately, it didn't arrive, but it was so humid that by the time I got home, I was pretty much soaking wet through my clothes. I hope that's not too much information. But anyway, it was a fun evening. However, I did learn that I was dehydrated. And I had a terrible night. Wasn't drinking enough water. Had a terrible night with some cramping in my legs. And boy, did I learn my lesson on that one. So anyway, back to this. I've got 2 of these put together like this. And you take the tab of one end and the end of the other one. However you start them, you want to start them both the same way and glue them together. Let me grab my glue. And just make sure they're lined up. Now the first one I made from the half one has the fence post end. This one has the scalloped end. Okay, I'm going to let those stick together for a little bit, because otherwise my fingers are getting very, very sticky. And let's start with the card. Let's get up here in view. All right, I have a piece of Granny Apple Green that is cut to 5.5 by 4.25. So this is going to be my base, and then I'm going to put the actual card on top of that. So my card is thick basic white that is cut to 5.25. Right, 5.25 by 4. But when it's opened, it's 5.25 by 8, and then scored and folded in the center. So I'm going to, first of all, let's move this off to the side. First of all, put my sentiment on the card. And this one is going to be "A Million Thanks." Now, I'm going to put one of those tiny yeah, there we go. One of the tiny pinwheels on here. So I want to make sure that I get all of this on here. Because if you look at these, some of them are long here. So they vary on the part that goes off to the side. The Speedy Recovery has a lot of room here where I can put a pinwheel. The Million Thanks has enough room here. So I want to be careful where I stamp that. So I'm going to start with Memento Black. And put it a little bit down towards the bottom, but not at the bottom. And I don't like that at all, so I'm going to turn it over because that's going to get glued down. And I think it might be easier, since this is thick, if I open this up. So let's try that again. Sometimes those things happen. That's much better, but I think I still got too much ink on there. But that will work. And I'm going to clean that off. Now the colors that I'm going to use are Berry Burst. I'm going to start with that. I'm only going to have one color open at a time because I've got 2 dots, a larger one and a smaller one, and I want to make sure that I don't mix up my colors. I almost did that earlier when I was making my sample. So I'm going to start with the small dot. And again, I think it's a good idea to keep this open. And that one didn't come out too well, but with photopolymer, I can go back over top of it. That looks pretty good. And let's make some large ones of those. Don't forget, you can go off the edge of your paper. Okay, get back in view here. Now remember, that back part's going to get glued down. Okay, so I think I've got enough of those. I'm going to clean that off. Let it dry. Close this. When you're switching colors back and forth, it's really important, especially with these bright colors. So now we have our Granny Apple Green, and let's put a few of those on here. And you'll notice the photopolymers do tend to have a stain on them, but once they're clean, they're fine. So don't worry about staining on your photopolymer stamps. We've got some tiny ones here. And one up there. Clean it up and close the ink pad. And then the last one is Blueberry Bushel. It's a nice bright blue. Let's see, let's get some large ones here. I don't want to put too much over here because that's where I'm going to put the little pinwheel. But I just love polka dots. Let's put one up here. And let's switch to the smaller one. I'll leave that inked and see what I come up with. Okay, I think that's good enough. I could tend to overdo it. So does anybody have big plans for the week? Here in the States, we have our 4th of July Independence Day holiday coming up on Thursday, which is usually a big picnic time and cooking out and grilling. Okay, so now I'm going to glue that down here. Thank heaven people don't see the backs of some of my cards because it's so much fun to be able to just turn them over. Okay, before I finish this, let's go back to this. I think those are glued together. And probably should have done this first too. Let's see. Either one's going to work. Add some glue to this end. And let's grab my, this is where I tend to get my fingers sticky. And use my little tweezers to put these together. Okay, then all you do is kind of fold it into itself. And then you put a little dot on it. So I'll show you the one that I already have done. I'll come back to that one. That part of it is done. So here we have A Million Thanks. Okay, this is the completed mini, and that's what this one will end up looking like. This is what this is when you get one of those cut in half. So that's going to go, let's see, I like that better. A million thanks is going to go right there. And I'm going to do that with glue. That's a little bit too much thickness to add and use a Stampin' Dimensional. So that just fits on that side. Now I do have an envelope here. Thank you, Caroline. So it will fit into an envelope, and you may want to put something over top of that so it doesn't get crushed too much, or like put a piece of cardboard across there. It might require additional postage. I don't know, because I didn't check that since I just started making these. And let's add some gems to this. And for this, we've got some purple here. I'm going to use the purple fine shimmer gems. It's always good to have some bling on your cards. And one more thing. And I like to do some spattering with my Wink of Stella. That's one of my favorite things to do. And just tap that with your bone folder. Let me make sure that there's enough in there. I think there's plenty. Yes. And it just adds some sparkle. You could actually add some sparkle to some of the polka dots too. Thanks, Shirley. It just is cheerful. I love it. So that's our card. Let me show you some samples. Let me see if this other one is glued well enough. So what you do then is, let's go this way, yeah. Fold it in on itself, and with the smaller one, it takes a little bit more effort to make that happen. And then you need one of those little circles. Okay, there we go. So it just folds in on itself. You add some adhesive. Now I will say that if I make a bunch of these, I will get my hot glue gun out. And I remember that's what I did when we had these before. I'll go back to that in a minute, Rose. And put some glue on the circle and put it there. But with hot glue, it's going to really adhere it well, and it's not going to pop apart. So I will save that and do that with that one later. But what I did with the envelope was, I think what you could do, this is actually on the fly right now. Let me see. Here, I had a little cutter here. So I'm just going to take this piece. This is, as I said, this is on the fly. I don't know if what I'm doing is going to work or not. I mean, sometimes when you want to mail a card to somebody, it's worth the extra effort, the extra stamp. I don't know. Let's see. Maybe that's probably a little bit too much. to put on there. I don't know. That requires a little bit of thought here. That's a little bit too much. And speaking of postage, postage rates are going up on the, I believe, 12th or 13th of July. So I stocked up on some stamps, some of the Forever stamps the other day when I went to the post office. It's kind of getting a little crazy. So let's see if this one works. Maybe, I don't know, maybe a piece of bubble wrap or something to go in there, but it does fit. The only thing I'm thinking of is I don't know, it probably would go okay. So I'll think about it. Maybe I will try to mail one and let you know. But anyway, there's the card for today. Let me show you some samples that I'm excited about. This was the one that I did with Speedy Recovery. And for this one, this is really no problem mailing because there are 2 dies here that you can cut out. This one is 2 of these. So 2 of these, and they kind of intertwine. So there's the Speedy Recovery one. That one would not have a problem in the mail. And on this one, I used the whole Granny Apple Green card base and then added one of those on the inside. And then this one is really colorful with some of the sunburst or starburst paper and some more of those added on there. Happy birthday. I can see a teenager just loving this. There's a strip of the paper on the inside. This one I really like. It's kind of fun. And it is just a plain card base of Granny Apple Green and one of the pieces of the designer paper. And then this is a card on a card. And this is 3.5 by, I think it's 7. Whoops. 3.5 by 8. And then scored and folded at 4 inches. And there we've got some polka dots, some of that paper, some gems, and then happy birthday there. So lots of color today. And yeah, I think with this little one, knowing how the glue kind of oozed out a little bit, I think I'm going to get my hot glue gun out to do that one, to hold it together. So that is what I have for today. So here we go. This is the one I made today. We'll figure that out. Lots of color. And thank you for stopping by. I will catch you again next Monday. So take care. Have a great rest of the week. If you're grilling out, be safe. Let's see. Let's move these up here. Let's get them in there. So I will see you then. Happy stamping.